All right, can everyone see? All right, fantastic. So it's great to be here again, and you guys are spoiling me. I love being part of the group, and I consider myself part of the team. So thank you again. And I was happy when Sarah and Katie asked me to come back based on you all's request. So it's nice to be here. And you're right. And the presentation and the work that's been presented today is it's really exciting to see how hard everyone has been working. So it's good to see the progress since I've been part of these. It's nice to see the progress. And you're right, the challenges are great and they're growing each and every day. I was just hanging out with folks in Louisiana yesterday, last evening. And as you all know, with the hurricane hitting, we have fires in California. So things just continue to happen and make our everyday living challenging. And so I think it's great. And I was happy to have this opportunity to talk with you all. And the topic that I chose is singing in the rain, keeping ourselves connected. And I mean that on every level, personally, with our immediate family, immediate support circles, so that we can assure our connections with our clients remain strong and continue to be maintained and grow during this time. So I just think it's important to take time to do that. So I'm really happy that you all also are taking time today to talk about that. And so I really just want to have a short conversation with you and kind of let you into my world and my thoughts. So I'll share a couple of thoughts with you as I really talk about singing in the rain. I know it's a peculiar type of topic. Who wants to talk about the rain? But I happen to be a weirdo and I like the rain. And hopefully by the end of my conversation with you, you'll see why I really enjoy the rain. And so what do you do? What do I do? It's raining. And again, with all of the challenges that are happening around us, the different things that we're kind of hit with, and you wake up in the morning, there's something else that's going on. And it just seems like so much is happening. You can just feel it all just, bouncing off of us, our very being. And so what do I do? It's raining. And so that's what I want to talk about. And I was thinking, I said, well, it's about sustaining ourselves and thinking about the important work that we're doing during such times of change and stress. And again, with COVID-19, with the social unrest around racism, there's just a lot to contend with on a daily basis. And so I think after 6 months of being socially isolated, it's so important to really think about these things. How do we sustain ourselves? Because if we don't, then the work that we do is not going to be sustained. People are planning to go back to something. And I think it's more about we're going to be going to, and people call it a new reality. I don't use that term, but I just talk beyond COVID. So what is life going to be like beyond? And so how do we sustain ourselves now and the important work that we do in times of change? So what do I do? It's raining. So just think about that for a minute. And so I want you to know that Kenn loves singing in the rain. I mean that, I do like singing in the rain, but I'm talking particularly about this wonderful movie, 1952, Singing in the Rain with Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connell and Debbie Reynolds. And I love it because of the concept, and those of you that might recall this movie, they were dealing with transition. They were going from talkie movies to from silent movies to talkie movies. Their talent was good when there was no talking, but then they discovered that one of the actors, she couldn't sing so well, but as we're transitioning, is it really gonna work? And so I think for me, it makes me think of the times that we're in now with regards to just transition. And there was a need for innovation. And when you watch this movie, that's what you're gonna see. Innovation has to come in. So again, let's get another actress to do the singing. We'll do a voiceover, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I think these times call for great, great innovation, which is really calling upon energy that we hadn't planned to use. But as you're adapting and innovating, you're using up this new energy, more energy. It is so important then to take time to rest and to make sure you're taking care of yourselves. So that's why I like Singing in the Rain. I like the movie because it's an encouraging film for me when I think about it, but it helps me think about staying connected within yourself to assure your connections with everyone else. So it really, the characters there have to really evaluate, self-assess themselves to see what they're bringing to the table, what gifts they have, how it's going to show up, etc. So really assessing, do that self-assessment and staying connected within, and then finding those connections that we need for our immediate support to assure then that the greater community is able to function and move things forward. And so it does have that theme of staying connected within and ensuring connection. It also reminds me of a popular saying that people use, you know, hey, you got to learn how to make lemonade out of lemons. But because I like singing in the rain so much and I get so much from doing that, I have adopted like jumping in the puddles made out of the rain. And so even though rain comes, there are some opportunities there. And for me, you know, puddles are made, and, you know, sometimes it's fun just to jump in a puddle and do something off the wall from time to time. So I love singing in the rain because, again, it reminds me of staying connected with myself. It slows me down a bit and then makes me think about my connections with other people, other things in my life, and then also not being so sad about it, but thinking about the puddles that are made from the rain as opposed to some of the drawbacks when it rains. And so if you recall the words, I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain, what a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. And it's because his character had connected with love again. So when he was on a cloud nine for being in love, but he says, I'm laughing at the clouds so dark above, the sun is in my heart. Again, when you're centered and you're in a healthy place, you can actually look at the clouds and smile like, you know what, I'm okay, even though it's cloudy. There may be darkness, some things are happening around us that are just very dark, but, you know, sun is in my heart, and just making sure that I'm in a good place, that as I'm looking out and taking in things, that I'm okay. And so that's why I love the words here. And then further down, you know, come on with the rain. I've a smile on my face. It's almost like resilience and strength. You're like, yeah, well, bring on the rain. I'm okay because I'm in a good place. And so when you strengthen yourself, you actually can take the bad in a different way. And so that's another reason I love this movie, and I love Singing in the Rain. And again, this is just wonderful to have this attitude, a great attitude about the rain. The other scene when he's just zipping around the room, and I remember growing up in Boston, I loved the rain, and my mom did let me go out, and so I would go out and emulate this film and these scenes. I used to dance in my life, and so I certainly tried to do the jumping on the sidewalk into the street. Almost got hit by a car, but that's okay. I'm still here today. And then the last scene in this particular scene, I love because as you're happy, there's always these moments of heavy rainfall. So sometimes there's some heavy things that even happen in life. But again, finding your center does help. And so that's one of the reasons I like singing in the rain. And so we think about the things that are happening around us, and there's so many things that are falling upon us that we're dealing with the rain. And so I do acknowledge that sometimes the rain feels like a monsoon, like we saw in that last scene, and just this heaviness is just coming down, and racism is one of those things. And even with the COVID, right, just realizing, again, the disparities are there, and that people of color, Black people, Latinx, they're impacted more disease, more death. I mean, it's the same old news, and for some of us, that's just heavy, heavy. Again, disparities again, this group again. And so it's important to acknowledge that it feels heavy sometimes, and it's like a big deluge falling on us. So I just keep an umbrella up, and I try not to let it overwhelm me. And I think sometimes that's what we're doing, just trying not to let it all overwhelm us, but just knowing that it's falling, knowing that it's coming down, but trying to have some type of protection. And so again, that umbrella is important to have. And again, that's why I like singing in the rain sometimes. And it's hard, and I just want to acknowledge that. And then remember, rain, rain, go away, come back another day. Oh, you know, when it rains for children, that means, oh, my fun has stopped. You get it, you know, the psychological impact of all of this rain. And so even though kids really depict that, I think adults, we also have a reaction to the rain, and we want it just to go away. I want all of these bad things to stop. I don't want these things to keep happening in our society. Why did we are working to eliminate and get rid of these things? Go away, go away. We want the rain to go away. But the reality is racism in this country, it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So accepting these things is important, because we are doing work to move the needle and to move things further. And many of us that have been doing this for decades, I certainly hope that when you pause and look back, you're encouraged by what you have seen as far as growth, because things are changing. And even though we're seeing more, we're also able to do more. But sometimes you just want the rain to go away, and it doesn't go away. But that's nursery rhyme, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. But it talks in the song about daddy wants to play, mommy wants to play, brother wants to play, sister wants to play, all the family wants to play. And when I think of all the things that are coming down us that we're contending with in the work that we're doing, we're fighting on behalf of families and women and children, and fathers are part of it. Everyone just wants the opportunity to be able to be healthy and happy and have great outcomes in this country. And so you want the rain to go away, because we know there are things that really prevent, interrupt, create barriers and challenges for our families to really be able to play in the rain. And so I just wanted to mention that as well as I think about rain, rain, go away. And when we also think about rain, rain, go away, it's not necessarily the rain that's the problem, but it's more about the adult. So as a child, you know, rain doesn't stop the intent of a child to have fun that day. They want to go out and have fun in the rain, but it's the parent that says, no, you're going to get sick, you can't go out. And so the parent puts all the restrictions. So sometimes the rain is not the problem, it's the adults. And we think of some of the issues we're addressing, it's not the issue, it's the people behind the issues that are the problem. So it's just sometimes important to just pause to remember that about the rain. It's sometimes it's the adults, it's some of the systems that we're fighting against. But some see rain as a negative thing, others as a positive. And so just wanted to bring that out. Kids don't necessarily see rain as a negative as we do as adults sometimes, because it's a hassle for us, right? I don't want the child to go out because they may get sick because we don't have time for them to be at home from school. We have all these reasons why it's such a negative experience. But I'm trying to encourage you to think about rain in a different way. If you're one of those folks that thinks it's so negative. Rain sometimes can be a positive thing for us. But you might be like, you know, that 1974 song, I Can't Stand the Rain, knocking against my window pane. And so some people can't stand the rain, all that's happening, they just can't stand it. And it's just hard to deal with the rain. And it's a traumatic experience because these things are overwhelming. And while we're fighting against these things, many of us are experiencing them at the same time. And I think it's just important to understand that there's trauma associated with rain sometimes. So it's important then to acknowledge the toll that all your work is having on you. And then many that are in the field understand in field of psychology, it's important to acknowledge that there's an impact. This stuff is having an impact on me. And so I would encourage you to do that as you continue your work. Make sure you're acknowledging, okay, this is tough for me, you know, because of my own experience, my lived experience. And all of us, racism impacts every single person in America, not just one particular group. And so acknowledging its toll on us, I think is very important into taking care of ourselves. And so we have to take care of ourselves. And so I want to encourage us to think about how do you do that on a personal level? And you have to take care of yourself to be strong enough. And when you're strong enough, then you can take care of others. And many of us have flown before. We haven't in a long time, but you do recall when the attendant says with the oxygen mask, take care of yourself first, then assist other people. And so that's important still in the work. And even when it's raining, take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. So with that song, just to take you back to 1974, and if there's a great singer out there, Karina, I know you can sing. You can take yourself off mute and sing the song, but I'll just say the words. I can't stand the rain against my window, bringing back sweet memories. The window, hey, window pane, do you remember how sweet it used to be when we were together? Everything was grand. Now that we're parted, there's just one sound that I just can't stand. I can't stand the rain against the window. Bringing back sweet memories. I can't stand the rain against my window because he's not with me. I bolded that because I wanted to highlight that during this time, if it really rains, and we've had some rains here, but when I've been in rain the last few months, I've been sad because it makes me think how isolated I am. And so I do think about my mother, who I haven't seen in 6 months. And so, you know, I can't stand the rain because it reminds me that I cannot physically be with people that I love and care for. I can't, as a human being, exchange human energy because we were not designed to be alone and be in social isolation. And so, you know, sometimes I can't stand the rain, you guys, because it's just too much. It reminds me that people that I love are not close and not with me. And so again, it's important to take care of ourselves, but reminding ourselves again, as I shared with you all before, social isolation does not have to mean no social connection. And so the way we stay connected during these times is even more critical. So that phone call now, I wasn't a phone caller before 6 months ago, but now I use my phone much more often. I send texts more often because I want to make sure that I have that connection, because again, the rain beating against the window pane reminds us of great things and pleasant things that we're unable to do during this time. And not only COVID, but sometimes it makes us think of some of the other things that are raining down on us, like impacts of racism, disparities, and sometimes not feeling that you're doing enough. But I want to encourage, I know that you're doing enough, and just from your reports, be encouraged that you are moving things forward. So sometimes when it rains, I just say to myself, you know, it's time to put on my fun boots. You know, so as a kid and parents, we buy nice, fun, colorful boots because the kids are happy to put on their rain boots to go into the rain. And so I think that's a lesson that we can take. Put on my fun shoes. Sometimes if you're becoming overwhelmed, put on your fun shoes. And even if it's not raining, I've seen people wear their rain boots because some people say they're just so cute, I had to wear them. And so put on your fun boots. And when you do that, that's like a sign of resilience. Like, you know, it's raining, but I'm going out there and I'm having a positive attitude when I go. So putting on fun shoes speaks to resilience for me. And so I love being outside in the rain when I'm traveling back and forth to work, even just to see people in their fun shoes, because they were very intentional. They went out and bought some nice shoes for this occasion when it does rain. And so I think it's important that we prepare for these times and have and show that we have intentional endurance. I plan to make it through the rain. I'm not going to mess up my good shoes. I'm planful and intentional. I'm going to get out there and endure. I'm going to put on whatever I need to handle the rain and take any gear that I need. So again, putting on the fun shoes reminds me of being resilient, intentional endurance. It's called coping gear. So whatever you want to put on, people have plastic rain caps they used to wear. You have the umbrellas, the shoes, galoshes, whatever you want, but it's like that coping gear. And I think it's important that we have coping gear, because when it rains and all the rain, the things that are happening, we do not have the luxury of stopping and getting out of the game. We have to decide how can we stay engaged even during times of great rain. So I like coping gear. And that's another reason I like being out in the rain, because you can have coping gear. And it's also for me, when I see everyone in their gear, it just reminds me, kind of go with the flow. Some days you just have to go with the flow and just let go, like Elsa says, right? Just let it go and go with the flow. It's raining, what are you gonna do? But put on those fun shoes, and at least you'll feel good when you have those on. And I don't know about you, but when I put on my fun shoes, then it puts me in the mood of dancing in the rain as well. And then the rain don't stop nothing attitude is what rain gear, rain boots mean, fun shoes. So sometimes that attitude of, you know what, it's a lot happening, but it's not gonna stop nothing. I'm still gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I know this is important work. And just to remind some of you folks that have gotten too old as a mommy and daddy, there are rain boots for mummies and daddies too. And I remember when my son was young, it was nice to kind of just chill out and put on rain gear and go outside with them instead of just restricting him from the fun, you know, because I didn't feel like dealing with him going out in the rain. I was like, no, you ain't going out. But boy, was it fun those occasions when I said, you know what, let's just go. We're gonna go walking in the rain, sir. And he had the best time of his life, and I ended up having fun too. So I'm saying to you, mummies and daddies, don't forget there are big boots for us too. And then if you're smart, and some of you that I've gotten to know in this group, I know you're real stylish. I'm gonna tell you as an adult, go and have your adult fun shoes too. Because I've seen women with some beautiful rain shoes on. I'm like, I wish, and then there's no reason why I can't wear it, why I make it a male or female thing, because I can go out and buy some too, I suppose. But I don't see as many wonderful boots for men as I do for women. So if you're smart, go out and get yourself some adult fun shoes. And because sometimes you just have to let go and put them on and go outside, even though a lot is going on with regards to things that are raining on us. And so again, just go out with that right attitude, because singing in the rain is not just for kids, you guys. It's not just for kids. It's not just for kids. And with the rain, and as I kind of wrap up what I'm about to, my comments, it's the ground is grateful when it rains because it needs the rain. And some of the things that are raining down upon us, we need the intensity to remind us of how important our work is. We need it because the ground that we're cultivating, the work that we're doing, some adversity helps. And those of us that have been around for a while, you can't be afraid of the adversity, because that sometimes pushes us to get to the place that we need to. And so we can't be afraid of the rain. But when it comes, understanding that we need this as well. America needs its bottom shown around racism. Somebody has pulled down the pants on America, and we are so exposed. The world is looking at us as they looked at us in the 60s. And it should be happening, because it's a shame what's happening, not only around racism, but it's a shame that mothers are dying in childbirth in America. It's a shame that babies are dying in America. And so it's just a reality we have to accept. So when it happens, sometimes just chill out, because we need the rain as well. It's a pain for me because it inconveniences me, it disrupts my schedule, all this stuff, but the earth needs the rain in order to continue to bring forth. And so use the rain as a time to pause. If you need to pause, then when it rains, just take a pause if it's too much for you. Take a breath even, you know, just chill out and know that it's good for somebody. Somebody's dancing in a puddle, someone like Kenn is out there singing. I just need to take a break right now, and I'll take a breath while he's out there singing. And use that as a time to meditate. If you don't practice meditation, this rain is a great time to do meditation, just thinking on positive things, like knowing that even though these are some of the darkest times, I know that it's good for other people, because it's helping people be motivated to do the work they need to do. And so good things are happening and people are growing. So it's nice to think about the positive things that are happening even during negative times. So empathy is what I'm talking about here, but rain time is a good time to think about things like that. And so I encourage you to keep an umbrella with you, because you don't know when it might rain. Keep an extra one with you, and you can give to someone else. And in our work, we're covering others as we cover ourselves. And so some people buy a big umbrella just in case you need to bring someone under with you. And I think as we think about the people we work with, always have an extra umbrella, and make sure you're inviting them to come under the one that you have. And so that's part of the work that we're doing, trying to cover others as we bring cover and shelter to our clients. Just understand we're going to help shelter them from we're all in the same storm, and we're there together. So I think the message of being connected there with and together is really important during rain. And so take a rest if you need to when it rains, and when you're ready to go back out, you'll be singing in the rain if you think about some of the things I've shared with you today. And then, again, think about our readiness and the preparedness to deal with the rains that come. And again, having an umbrella with you, having other gear to kind of keep yourself motivated and going. And Ella Fitzgerald sang with ink spots and sang a song, "Into Each Life, Some Rain Must Fall." And dealing with the realities, I think, is so important. Rain is going to happen. So living with this reality, into each life, rain must fall, you all, right? So it's cool to carry that extra umbrella for other people too, because it might be sunny on your side, but people we work with, family members even, could be in a storm. And it's nice to be able to have an umbrella to help shelter some of the impact of that storm. So my closing thoughts about the rain is I really love the rain, and I hope that you've heard that. I love the rain because when you find your spot and space in the rain, it can be a place of comfort. And so sometimes it's not a big deluge and a thunderstorm, it's just sprinkles, or it's a little shower, or there's a mist in the air, or just dew from the night rain. So it's refreshing. And so for some, we can take times of refreshing when it rains, and that's why I like the rain too, because even after it rains, sometimes there's a rainbow that comes, or when a clouds clears. It's just a refreshing time, and so look for the refreshment as well that can come even after the rain. But there's a part of Kenn that says, "But Kenn, man, this stuff is too much. It's just too much rain, man." And, you know, I'm not in charge of the rain. You guys have to talk to someone else that has a higher grade than I do. But I do acknowledge sometimes it's just too much rain. And when it's like that on some days, it is perfectly okay to just unplug and take a nap and get some rest, because some of us need to go take a nap when it's just too much rain. Don't push yourself too much. If this day is just too much, then it's nice to just take a nap and rest. And I encourage you to do some of that too when it rains. So with that, I'm going to close with the last things. And you all recognize Beautiful Annie. Tomorrow, the sun will come out tomorrow. The sun will come out tomorrow. So you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow. You all know the song. And I like this because at the end of it all, the sun will come out tomorrow, and that represents hope for me. And so again, I don't get too discouraged by the rain because I always say to myself, the sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. And so this is not me dancing around, but this is how I feel with that. And so I say live with hope. And I recognize for me, there's a hope that lives in me. I don't care what I've gone through so far in my life. There's so many great things to look at that encourages me to look ahead. And so live with hope and let hope live within you. Anticipate that there will be something better tomorrow. So singing in the rain is great, but if you need to take a break, do that. Come back out with your gear on and know that the sun will come out tomorrow. There'll be sun. So with that, I want to thank you for letting me have time to share and have a little conversation with you. And this is just Imagine Kenn during this time of rain. So thank you, and I will see you in the puddles. So be well, live well, and do well. Thanks a lot. Pre-conception quarantine.